Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about the turret, because the turret has received an update, but also an update for all of its skins. Currently there are 4 plus another one that's been added in this update as a mission quest. Yes, it's here. So Raft Wars, triumph a fallen match on Tropical Isles with a turret placed down. Okay, and I'm just going to skip the rest of it. It's only 399 Robux, and wait, what? You get, hold on. You get the bubbles name tag? I thought you get the turret name. I don't know. So 1,250 coins, 300 XP, jet ski turret, and the bubbles name tag, which is very cool. So Raft Wars purchased. The last one is triumph a fallen match on Abyssal Trench with a turret placed down. It doesn't seem too bad. It seems water themed at the very least, so that's cool. And I get the bubbles name tag. I forgot if bubbles was one of those name tags that wasn't added to Tower Defense Simulator previously, but here it is, bubbles name tag. That's very cool. Now we will go over the statistics of the turret, but firstly we're going to go over all of the skins for the turret. And yeah, the crossbow has actually received an update. I didn't think it would have, but fair enough. So the default turret, it looks a little bit, say it with me, like the sentry from back in the day. So let's see, turret, when you place it down, it looks like this, which is very oh, it actually has it's placement sound. Okay, interesting. It doesn't have a placement sound effect. Okay, upgrading it, nothing. Upgrading it, nothing. Upgrading it, looks like that. Why is it jerking around? You can see it. Very fidgety. Does it have ADHD? That's very interesting. And that one also, I think it kind of looks like one of the Sentry skins from back in the day. Although that being said, probably not really. Okay, fair enough. And then if you're upgrading it, yeah, it looks, yeah, no change. And then at max level, I assume it looks like that. So that's the orange stuff that I was talking about from the trailer. Yeah, the turret, it's not really gotten much change with its models, but you know what? Fair enough. Now, yeah, okay, so it has sound effects. It doesn't look like it has visual effects, but the bullets, they look really weird. Okay, fair enough. What's the default sentry look like? Okay. Okay, fair enough. And then it just looks like that. Okay, and that just looks like a minigunner. Okay, cool, I guess. Sentry? It's a turret. Sorry, my bad. Obviously, it looks like a sentry in my opinion, but yeah, fair enough. I guess it's updated to modern standards, I guess, after, what, since 2019, since it was first added. It's never received a remodel until now. 6 years and running. Next is the crossbow turret, which is a skin that you could get from the Lunar Overture season, and you can't get it subsequently. It is just like this. So, this is what level 0 looks like. No change, no change. Oh, change. I don't know why these towers have like a little bit of jitteriness to this, because you can very clearly see it is jittering quite a bit. I don't know why. ADHD probably. Like a crossbow, yeah, it definitely has ADHD. And then at level 5, it looks like that. I don't think there's that many changes, if any at all, to level 5. Oh, and also it does have a unique placement sound effect, which I don't know if it did have previously. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Is there even any changes to... I don't think there's even any changes to the level 3 turret, and the only change to the level 0 turret is that it's higher up, I think. But other than that, barely any changes, so I would assume that there's not many changes to the firing effects that it has. And is it still sideways? There used to be an issue with the lens. Yeah, the lens flare is still downwards. It's still at a perpendicular angle for the max level turret, which the developers still have not fixed. Lens flare seems to be one of those things that is always glitched when it comes to towers. At least certain towers in this case. And yeah, the turret at max level, at least the crossbow turret, is also still broken. The next tower is the XR300 skin. If it follows a similar pattern, it looks like it will get change, and it sounds like it's a similar placement effect as the default turret, so I'd assume there's a change at level 3. Indeed it is, and then there's another change at level 5. Indeed there is. So I mean, you know, this is what the level 0 looks like. It's pretty similar. It is actually pretty similar to what it was previously. And yeah, you know, the belt, it's just neon parts and everything, which I guess is cool. It looks more like a turret skin than the default turret skin looks like, although the default turret skin, I've already stated, it looks like a sentry. And the visual effects is kind of similar to the default turret, at least for level 0 and for level 3. Level 5 doesn't have the bullets that come out of the side, which is really odd given the fact there is no like bullet. I guess it's because it's the bullet trail here, which makes sense. But then here, there is nothing. I guess it just throws the bullets out. Yeah, it's fair enough, I guess. Now, the skin that everyone is sad to see go, that being the XR500 skin, because, I mean, well, previously it was a skin. It was the only yellow skin or yellow toned skin in Tower Defense Simulator, having not changed since it was added, I believe, in 2020, January 2020. However, I think the developers did forget about it. However, it has been updated now, and it has gotten a humanoid in it. So yeah, in the trailers previously, I said the turret might have gotten a humanoid. No, that was only actually at this level. But yeah, it looks like this, and if I'm not correct, yeah, it does have the 32 logo here. And interestingly enough, someone has pointed out that this appears in Outpost, this exact soldier appears in Outpost 32 in the cutscenes. So technically speaking, the turret has technically been retconned into the lore for Outpost 32 before the turret itself was actually changed, which is very interesting. So this is what level 0 looks like, and that previously, I think all of the levels for the XR500 skin did change in appearance. I wonder if it's the same here. It is the same here. Okay, so at this level, we get a barricade at the very start, which is very cool, and a larger gun, it looks like. We get padded, and the armaments are around the entire base. Very cool, and you get a bigger magazine, it looks like, and a scope. At level 3, you get a minigun of sorts, and a huge-ass laser at the bottom, and also the reinforcements are, I guess, more straight. Level 3, the minigun looks like that. It looks like a bit like a sunflower, and a shield, which looks like this. And at level 4, yeah, the humanoid is here, and it looks similar-ish to what it was previously, in the fact that there's a turret behind a massive shield. The shield looks like it's floating a little bit, though, that being said. Oh, no, it's not, but it does look like it is. I have to assume, though, that the shooting animations are probably very similar to the other stuff. Yeah, it is pretty much very similar to that. Fair enough. And finally, the last turret skin in Tower Defense Simulator, and the newest one to be added, it is the jet ski turret, which, I mean, its face already shows that this is going to be a very unique turret skin. So, the jet ski turret skin. Oh, it looks like the placement. When you try and place it out, it looks like it's creating puddles of some kind. Very interesting. I assume you can't place it on water. It would be very interesting if you could, but yeah. That's a very interesting placement sound. Yeah, it sounds like a horn of some kind. Why is it purple hair? Or, well, burgundy hair. I think it's more accurate to burgundy, but that's fair enough. I wonder, does it have a unique shooting effect? It does. It's similar to the Ducky Necromancer, which gives more credence to the fact that I think that these were originally meant to be summer skins, but they weren't. Okay. Level 1 looks like that. Level 2, I don't think there is any change at level 2, or if there is, it's very minimal. I don't think there is any change. At level 3, it gets a white boat and an anchor. At level 4, it gets a commander-ish type stuff and a bigger gun. And at level 5, it looks like this. And yeah, I think the expression of the jet ski minigun, it looks like that. And it's very interesting, I must say. Yeah, it looks like that, even though it doesn't look like the thing comes out of the minigun barrel itself. It looks like it comes out in like there, in the middle of the barrel, which is very, very odd, I must say. I wonder if the other jet ski... Yeah, it does kind of look like the thing comes out slightly below where the jet ski turret actually shoots out from. I assume this is where the default turret shoots out from, or at level 0, so which is why it doesn't really get updated, but that's really odd. Now, before going into the actual turret statistics directly, I do want to test something, because previously the turret, apart from the XR500 skin, because it was considered a humanoid, the turret was actually immune to partial debuffs if the enemy applied a debuff and that enemy was like coded before v1.9.0. So, for example, I don't think Wox the Fox was able to stun, or well, debuff the turrets. So I do wonder, right, can the enemies like Wox the Fox debuff the turret? And if so, that'll be very interesting. So I've got Wox out. All it just needs to do is do its ability, and we'll see if it does like the debuff. And the turret is indeed not debuffed, so it seems like it keeps that around. Although this is the crossbow turret, which hasn't changed too much. I don't know if it's the same for the default or the XL500. Or if it's the case where new skins, because they're added to Tower Defense Simulator, it causes all sorts of weird issues, including not being able to be targeted, not being able to be stunned in some cases, although in this case it does look like it's able to get stunned, which is very interesting. But yeah, it looks like the turret does keep around its ability to avoid being debuffed by certain towers, certain enemies. I do wonder, right, does the boomer still debuff the turret skin? Let's see. Yeah, it does. Okay, so it does seem to be like a partial debuff glitch, which, yeah, fair enough. So, as for the changes to the turret, statistically wise, it's not a major statistic change. There are some changes to it. That does mean that the turret has changed somewhat slightly, and you could probably consider this a rework of sorts. But it's not major changes. So, the placement cost of the turret at level 0 has decreased from 6,000 to 5,000. However, the fire rate of the turret has increased from 0.3 to 0.35. This means that the DPS of the turret has gone from 32.47 to 27.93, and the cost efficiency has gone from 184.79 to 179.01. Meanwhile, at level 1, the upgrade cost has actually increased for this individual level. However, overall, the total cost for the turret has slightly decreased. So at this level, it's increased from 1,000 to 1,250, but the total cost for the turret has decreased from 7,000 to 6,250. The fire rate actually remains the same at this level compared to what it was previously, meaning that there is no DPS change to this level. It's just that because the turret is now cheaper, the cost efficiency goes down, which is better. Meanwhile, at level 2, the upgrade cost for this level has increased from 4,250 to 7,250. Quite a massive increase when it comes to upgrade cost, and the total upgrade cost to get to level 2 for the turret has increased from 11,250 to 13,500. However, to compensate for this, the damage for the turret at this level has increased from 15 to 20. So while you're looking at more DPS overall, because of the slight upgrade total cost for the turret at this level, I don't think it is a massive change to the cost efficiency. I think the cost efficiency is slightly smaller than it was previously, but because of these changes, yeah, I guess the turret is more expensive, so I guess ramps up more after level 0. Meanwhile, at level 3, the upgrade cost from this level has increased from 12,000 to 15,000, okay? But the damage also at this level has increased from 15 to 20, while also retaining the fire rate buff at this level. This means that the DPS of the turret at this level has increased from 94.94 to 126.58, whereas the total price has increased from 23,250 to 28,500. Yes, markedly more expensive turret, and the DPS doesn't really compensate for that. Meanwhile, at level 4, the upgrade cost for the turret has increased from 26,000 to 30,000, but the damage has increased from 32 to 40. This means that the DPS for the turret has increased from 202.53 to 253.16, but the total cost for the turret has increased from 49,250 to 58,500, which is quite a lot. And then finally, for level 5, the upgrade cost for the turret at level 5 has actually decreased slightly from 56,250 to 52,500, but the total cost for the turret has still increased from 105,500 to 111,000. Quite expensive. But the damage has increased from 55 to 75. So I think actually it's going to be worth it when you also consider the DPS has increased from 429.69 to 585.93. So yes, having 2 turrets placed down, that is about 1,100 DPS. And if you also place down another turret, that's like 1,600 DPS. You can only have 3 turrets down. So yeah, this is quite a formidable DPS tower now. It does ramp up a lot more than it did previously. Previously, it was a lot smoother if you think about a curve. Now here, it's more exponential. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it does mean things are more expensive, but they are also more powerful. I think in this regard, the turret may be used more as a DPS tower, given the fact that there's only 3 of them, meaning that there's not too much to buff. Like if with the medic, for example, you only really need 1 medic to buff all of these turrets. Whereas in the case of like the ranger, for example, you would at least need 2 medics to buff all of them, because you can have a maximum of 7 rangers, and each medic can only buff 5 rangers at once. So you would need at least 2. Whereas in the case for the turret, it packs a lot for 1. So yeah, in that regard, I think the turret is quite good.